deep dive. We've got this really fascinating guide here. It's written by educators for educators, looking at how schools are scrambling, really, to handle generative AI.
Yeah, scrambling is the word.
So our mission today is try and cut through some of that noise, synthesize what this guide says about the immediate challenges ethically and practically.
And it's crucial because, the guide itself admits how tough this is. There's that great line from Justin Reich.
Oh, yeah.
He says, writing a guide on AI in schools now in 2025, it's like writing a guidebook of aviation back in 1905.
Right. Building the plane while flying it.
Exactly. It wasn't planned. This tech just sort of arrived, and schools immediately had to deal with academic integrity, data privacy, all of it.
Okay, so let's dive into those tensions. When schools try using these tools for good, what's the ethical tightrope they're walking?
Well, the first big one is this clash between beneficence, the idea the tool should actually help the user, and privacy, protecting student data. And there's a really powerful example in the materials, this action figure case study.
Action figures. Tell me more.
So some teachers, they used an AI tool to create these personalized action figures for underserved students specifically.
Okay.
The idea was to help them visualize a future possible self, see themselves in a future career, a clear benefit, right? Very motivating.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly positive.
Yeah.
So what's the catch? The privacy side.
Exactly. To make it personalized, they had to upload data, photos, names, the kids' career dreams.
Personally identifiable information. PII.
Right. All PII. And that opens the door to what's called data inference.
Data inference. So the AI guessing more about the student than what was actually provided.
Precisely. It might infer age, maybe location, socioeconomic status, just from those few data points. And the MIT RAISE group pointed out the big risk here. Once that data is inferred, it could potentially be packaged and sold.
Sold to who?
Companies. Think toy companies getting data on kids interested in specific careers in specific areas. That's the potential downside of that personalization.
Wow. Okay, so that's a major ethical knot, but then there's the impact inside the classroom itself, right, on learning. Is AI a shortcut or is it a skill builder?
Well, the research, which is still pretty early, it shows mixed results. It's not clear-cut.
Okay.
On the positive side, you see students using it constructively. One student mentioned using AI to get the answer to a tricky math problem.
Uh-oh.
No, and then they'd work back from it to figure out the steps, actually understand the process better.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Almost like a worked example generator.
Kind of. And teachers are definitely using AI too, maybe to create different versions of worksheets for different learning levels, differentiation.
But there is a downside, a worry about shortcuts.
Oh, absolutely. Many teachers are concerned that relying on AI means students skip the necessary struggle, the cognitive effort.
Losing critical thinking skills.
That's the fear. English teachers especially feel this. They say very directly, writing is thinking. There's this deep worry about students ending up with dim interior lives void of imagination if they just outsource all the hard mental work.
Dim interior lives. That's stark. Okay, so ethics, learning. What about policy? How are schools even supposed to govern this? I saw the guide mentioned bans are mostly off the table.
Yeah, there's a strong consensus against universal AI bans. They're just not seen as realistic.
Why not?
2 reasons mainly. They're hard to enforce, but more importantly, they're inequitable.
Inequitable. How so?
Think about it. If a school bans AI use on, say, the school-issued Chromebooks, who does that actually stop?
Only the students who rely on those Chromebooks.
Exactly. The students without their own laptops or smartphones. A computer science teacher in the guide put it plainly. The rich kids who have extra computers, we can't really control how they're using it.
So a ban just widens the gap. Students with resources keep using AI, those without don't.
Right. It creates an access issue tied to socioeconomic status.
Okay, so if bans are out, how do schools structure the rules? Does everyone follow the same policy, or does each teacher decide?
That's the big debate. Centralized, school-wide policy versus teacher autonomy.
Pros and cons to both, I imagine.
Definitely. A school-wide policy means clarity. Less confusion for students moving between classes. That's important.
Sure.
But letting teachers decide respects their judgment and acknowledges that AI impacts, say, an English class very differently than a chemistry lab.
So what's the advice? Is there a recommended path?
The leaning seems to be towards a hybrid model. Maybe a few core school-wide rules, non-negotiables, but then lots of leeway for teachers to set guidelines for specific assignments in their own classrooms.
Makes sense. So pulling this all together, for the school leaders listening right now, the ones who have to actually write a policy, what's the main takeaway?
I think the biggest message is embrace experimentation and get feedback constantly.
Be ready to change course.
Absolutely. The best advice from the guide was pretty direct. Call your policy the 2025-2026 AI policy, explicitly not the forever policy.
Signal that it's going to evolve.
It has to. The technology is changing too fast for anything else. Flexibility is key.
Constant iteration.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last thing from the guide. It's stressed, including AI skeptics in these policy discussions, the naysayers.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on, reflecting on this whole process. What vital role does that critical perspective, the naysayer, play when an organization feels rushed to adopt something new and shiny like AI?